Well, hello everyone, Pastor Ian, the Krabby Crafter here, and I have been doing a little die cutting off camera. And to launch into this video, if you saw the last video I posted was for the collage piece that I did, and I had some ideas from that. I want to go back and make a few cards, and in painting the background on the collage piece, I used some extra paint, and I came up with this amazing piece, which I just love. And so I'm going to use this, and I was trying to figure out how in the world do I want to use this because I really like it. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to cut it up. That's just all we're going to do. We're just going to cut it up. And I've got all the different dies that came with the kit. And what I'm going to do off cameras, let me go ahead and try and flesh this out a little bit. And I could put, actually, I'm going to do that. Actually, I'm going to help this to stay flat. I'm going to grab a sticky grid sheet. And we're gonna, or I could just tape it down. Yep, we're gonna do that. So what I'm gonna do is, where's my tape? Let me grab some of my mint tape off camera. And let's just go ahead and kind of prep this so that I can put these dies down without them getting too completely out of whack. So let me get a little more tape for the other corners. I love this tape for this reason. And all I'm doing is just taping it down to my magic mat. All right. And we're just gonna use these beautiful colors to get some, well, just a number of things. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna throw, and I can cut through the tape if I want, but we're gonna put a butterfly there. And let's grab the other two little butterflies because I love these guys. I just think they'll be real pretty with these colors. They'll match what I'm going with, the theme on one of the cards that I'm making. So we're going to throw those down. And then I actually want to use the hearts. I hadn't used the hearts on the other one. I used the circle dies and all the square and rectangular dies, but I want to go ahead and use these heart dies as well. So, and what I'm doing is I'm positioning, because I know it's going to kind of go through a little straight, so I'm trying to get it where it won't make quite as much a difficulty going through. But let's see. Yeah, let's put that right there. And just to start with, we're just going to cut those out. And then we'll come back and we'll cut some more things. So let's go ahead and run that through. And I always just run it through and then run it back. I could keep going all the way through, but it's just easier for me just to do it this way and pull everything off. And all right, so we'll take those, set those over there. Let's go ahead and pull these out. Let's see how we did. Let's see, what I'm gonna do is, yep, look at that. Oh man, that is just, I'm just so excited with the way that paint turned out. And just a really nice blend of colors there. That is a great butterfly. We actually can, and the paint even has a little shine to it. I don't know why. It's just regular distress paint, but that looks so, so good. Let's see if I can fish this little guy out of here. Let's come underneath. There it is. There he is. Whoop. He's running from me. Look at that. Is that not just, let me see if I can get it to focus. All right, maybe. There it is. Wow. So, loving that. So, what we're going to do is I'm just going to die cut a bunch of other pieces out of this. And there's the other one. I'm just going to die cut, go ahead and cut out some more things. A couple more hearts and a couple more butterflies. And there we go. And I'm just going to use those dies again. But I'm also going to go ahead and use some of the shape pieces too. We're just going to cut that whole piece out. And I love this. This is a new technique for me. You'll see this show up in more videos now. I'm actually going to start doing that dry brush kind of with the extra paint and just mix some colors just to get that nice little blend with all my extra paint. I love it. What I love about the circles is I can actually stamp a sentiment on some of these, depending on how big the circle is. We can go back later, and if I decide to, I can use it for a sentiment. So let's see. Let's lay those. So we're just laying them out, just trying to get as much use out of this paper as possible. So if I have a little bit of an opening, I'm going to, yeah, there we go. Let's put you there. And let's put you, well, let's just hang on to this little one for now. Go back and grab my butterflies because I love the butterflies. And I'm literally just laying these things out, just trying to get the best use out of it. All right, so I'm gonna die cut all the rest of this out, and then we've got about 4, 5, 6 cards that we actually decided we're gonna do, so we're gonna come back and we'll start putting the cards together. But you'll see all these pieces again in just a little bit as we start working on the cards. All right, I am back, and a lot of die cutting off camera, got a lot of things ready to go. So we're gonna start working on cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like I've got 7 layouts. I may do all 7, I may not. I say I won't, I probably will. But what I want to do now is I want to use this stencil. This is the cardstock that came with the kit, and I don't remember what it's called, but I really like this particular, I think it's, let's see, well, I've actually got the sheet over here that tells me what it is. But anyways, I really like this, I like this paper. It's just kind of that raw cardboard look to it. But what I need to do is I need to get an idea of which inks I might want to use. And so what I'm doing on the back is I'm just kind of putting some ink down there and just gonna let it dry. I just want to see what it's going to look like, because I do like Rusty Hinge. I think the Sangria might be a little too red. Ooh, boy, that is a nice shade of red. Boy, that is a really nice shade of red. And let's see how the honey, because we already know from my last video that I'm in love with the honey. Oh, that is a nice color. That is a really nice color. Maybe in trouble here. Let's try the cabbage. Oh, man. Gosh, that looks so good. 2, and the petunia. I know I'm not going to use the petunia, but I'm just since I'm doing it. Yeah, that's definitely that purple on the brown just kind of turned into like a muddy gray. But let me try some more distress inks. Old paper. I'm not opposed to that, and I'm afraid the ice spruce is not going to do a whole lot either. Oh, I was wrong. I like that, but I don't like that on the paper. So I think what I'm really leaning towards is I really do like that Rusty Hinge. Let's try this walnut stain. Yeah, that's too dark. So I think I like the Rusty Hinge, and I gotta say, I like the Rusty Hinge. I like the Sangria, and I actually like the cabbage. Yeah, I like the cabbage. I don't know which one I want to go with now. I think I'm just gonna stick with my old standby. Let me just try this citrine. Well, that looks good too. And the honey, that's similar on the paper. Yeah, I think for the look of this paper, I think what I want to do, make sure it's not bleeding through, because I'm actually testing on the back side. I'm going to use this side. Yeah, I think we're going to just go with the Rusty Hinge. I do like that Rusty Hinge. So we're going to use that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over. That's drying. That's not going to hurt anything. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to get my stencil. I'm going to lay out my stencil, and I want it square. I want everything to look good. So we're going to line it up and lay it down on our glass mat. All right, and now what I need is, and we're going to do this a little bit different. So I'm going to get a big old piece of my mint tape here, and we're going to work in sections. So what I'm going to do is tape that off, and I'm making sure that everything is held down nice and firm, and I'm going to put a little tape up here just to help with that. And then we're going to grab our good old Rusty Hinge here, and I think I'm going to do something just a little bit different. Let's bring this guy over here. Drop our ink cube there so you can see what we're doing. We're going to use the Rusty Hinge, and I need a blending brush, so we're just going to use this one and load that up, and then we're just going to start blending that onto our paper. And I'm actually wanting a little bit of a shading effect, so I'm not going to go dark over the whole thing. I'm just wanting to lay this color down just into the stencil area. We are going to put some pieces on top of this one. This one's going to be an elevated piece. All these openings are actually going to have a piece on top of them. and I may do some multi-dimensional. So just to kind of show you what I mean, if I can find a piece that fits, and of course I don't have one. Yeah, so this is, we're actually going to just drop pieces in there. This is just a guide, and this is just a guide. That's all that is. All right, so we got that where that needs to be. I like that. So let's pull this up. And yep, see it shuffled on me a little bit there. That's all right. So we're going to just realign everything. Pull the tape up. And we're going to move to the bottom. Let me just show you how that looks already. I love that. That's perfect. That's just what I want. That's just what I want. So let's line everything back up. There we go. Let's use this piece down here for that. And then let's come back up here with this piece for that. And let's stencil the rest of it, or stamp the rest of it. And again, I'm not, I just want that shading. So I could go a little darker on the edges, a little lighter in the middle. Whoop, yeah, I knew I was gonna do that. All right, did I get it back where it needs to be? I did. I need some more tape. We can do that. We can fix that. Got little extra pieces of tape off to the side here. So let's try this again. Why is it moving? Oh, because the stencil is taped down and the cardboard underneath is not. Well, the cardstock is not stenciled, taped down, but the stencil is. Well, that does make a difference, doesn't it? So here's what we're going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. Going to just use my hands to hold it in place. There we go. Much better. All right, so I do have a sticky mat, and I was like, well, I can't use it because the paper is the same side as the stencil, but then that would have actually held the paper in place, and I could have done a little more work to it, but that's okay. All right. You know what? That's going to do it right there. It's all I wanted, just enough to stencil that piece in. So let's set this off to the side. Let's go ahead and peel this up. Let's see if it made some silhouettes that I didn't want there. Let's see if I got it lined back up. We'll find out. We'll find out. And just slide the card out from underneath. Nope, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Look at that. I love that smoky look. That ink works really well on this cardstock. And that's actually distress ink. That's not even oxide. Oxide normally, well, I think oxide does better. I don't know, I'd have to try an oxide. I'd have to try the Rusty Hinge oxide and see, but I like the ink. Boy, I almost want to just leave that the way it is. All right, so that one's done. Okay, so we've got that one done. And what we're going to do now is something just a little bit different, because now we're going to do the same thing with this one. And I'm going to double check my colors, because I do like that Rusty Hinge on this paper, but I think on this one I may want to go, I want to go a slightly different color, but I don't know which color I want to use. Yeah, it looks way different on there. So let's try, I don't think the honey's gonna, nope, that's a little too yellow. Actually, I kind of want to go, boy, do I want to go with, because I've got some pinkish and reddish. Boy, that is such a rich color. I really like that sangria. It's just a little too red for me. I've got other inks. I'm just too lazy to go dig them out of my stock right now. Oh, I forgot about the vellum in this kit. I'm going to use vellum on one of these cards. I'll have to remember that. You know, we're just gonna go for it. So here's what I'm going to do on this one. As soon as I find the one that I was going to use, is we're going to do that, and I'm not going to do this one like I did the other one. I'm not going to break it off the middle. I'm just take these corners down, and then we're just going to jump in with the sangria. I'm just going to jump in with the sangria. let's see. I need to get a new, well, I could use a blending brush. Yep, so we're gonna, actually I want a bigger blending brush because I'll be here all day using that one. Let's grab this bad boy here. Let's get some ink on our blending brush. And then let's just start blending. Now these are positively saturated inks. So as you can see, the spottiness of it, we're not worried about that. When this dries, it dries. It's super creamy. Oh, I love this ink. It goes on super smooth, super creamy, and then it levels itself out. It just has a way of I don't even know how to describe it, but the ink really does just blend into itself. And this one, I'm actually not going to overblend again because we are going to be covering this up. I just wanted a base to work with. And I am going to elevate the pieces, and that way what will happen is you'll have this color coming through from underneath. You'll see what I mean once we're done. And that's looking really good. There's something on that paper that is, look at that. There was a glitch in the paper or something that created that line. I have no idea what caused that, if it's a crease or what it is. All right, so that was super easy, super easy. That was a lot better using that Stampin' Stencil mat, so much better. And then I like using the big stencil here for sure, or the big blending brush for sure. All right, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm actually not gonna go, I'm not gonna over ink that. Let me show you. If I grab enough ink, and see, I can keep applying it. And you can see how it's getting darker there. And I could blend that out if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I actually like this. I like that broken look. So I'm not painting, I'm inking, I'm blending. And for me, that's a huge difference. So sometimes I'll clean the brushes, sometimes not. This one I'm actually gonna clean up a little bit. But my brushes are designated brushes. This is gonna be for red inks, so I'm not worried about getting it completely clean. And yes, it's gonna stain that beautiful white, those beautiful white bristles, but that's okay. All I wanna do is get to where when I wipe it on the rag, no color comes off. And there we go, no color's coming off. So, well, very little color's coming off. And that's not gonna bother me. So, and I keep the caps, I put the cap back on it, and just sit it back over here in my little stamp holder, or brush holder. Actually, I don't know where it came from, so we'll stick it right there. All right, now let's pull this up. And let's just untuck that. There we go. Oh, wow, look at that. That looks so good. That looks so, so good. I've got some card bases here, pre-bought, pre-made. This is craft stock card base. This is a horizontal fold. It's a top fold, basically. You could do it this way. There's nothing wrong with that. It just, the orientation's a little different. It's a nice little card. You know, you got a little more room there. But we're actually going to run it this way. And I like these because you can stand them up. Of course, you could stand a card up like normal too, but this way someone can, you know, potentially put it on their desk or something. So we've got that one ready. And the reason I wanted to trim it down because I wanted that little bit of a base, that little bit of an edge around. I wanted that cardstock edge to show up just a little bit. Could have taken a little bit more off, but I actually like that. I really like that. And what I'm going to do with this one, because I want to have a little breathing room, is I'm actually going to use my multimedia mat. And that's my textured side. So you can see, well, you probably can't see. There's a textured side on this. There we go. And then there's a little bit of a smooth side. This is just a generic cardstock. I want to keep the textured side up. So all I'm going to do here is just, I want to use a little multimedia mat if there's any left in the bottle. I might have to get another bottle. Nope, there it is. I like this because this gives me a little room to slide and position. And it does not take a lot, so you see I'm just daubing it on here. Once we get it on, it'll be good to go. And I'm making sure I get some in the corners. And then we're just going to take that, and we're just going to flip that over, put it right on top of our card. And And that gives me the room. Like I said, you can slide it around, get your borders, get everything where you want it. That looks good. And then we just press down on that. And it'll grab. It'll grab in just a couple of seconds. But you have a little bit of breathing room when you use liquid glue. And that's one of the reasons I like collage medium, multimedia matte, multi-medium matte, which is, it's collage medium. I think it's an old bottle. Now it's just, you know, collage medium. But there we go. So that's on nice. We got that part ready. And so you see we're top fold. All right, so we got that piece. And this piece we're gonna put on here, but what I'm gonna do with this one is we're actually gonna raise this piece up. I'm gonna get a little bit of dimension out of this. So I'm going to find my foam tape. There it is. And let's see, I like it. I think I kind of like it that way. So just get some foam tape here, grab my scissors, wherever they are. And I think, yeah, we're just gonna go, I'm gonna run it down the sides, not too close to the edge. I don't like it to be, I don't like you to be able to see it, but I do want the stability. I do want the stability of, from the foam tape. And we're gonna put one in the middle. And I could have just used, I have the thick foam, I could have just used one large piece, but didn't want to do that. So, and then we're gonna put that right there. And that's gonna give me everything that I need. Okay. That's gonna give me all the lift and all the support that we need on that. So let's get these, take these off. Love foam tape. Everybody, you know, when you're doing crafting, you're gonna find what you like and what you don't like. For me, I like lift on my projects. I like dimension on my projects. And so I like foam tape. I like foam tape. I like wonkiness. I like to come off the edges of stuff. I like to, you know, just get creative. All right, so we've got that. And so again, this is turning into a nice piece that they can stand up there. So what I want to do now is I want to put something up here, and then I'm trying to figure, I was trying to remember, I was going to use one of these. I like the Find Joy in the Ordinary. Actually, I just really do like that one. So I think we're going to stick, because I was looking at Believe You Can, Collect Beautiful Moments. That one actually looks good too. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Find Joy in the Ordinary. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to lift this one up right off the piece there. So all I need to do is get a couple little strips. I'm gonna put two right there because I want to make sure that doesn't, I don't want the edge to drop down or curve down, so I do want to make sure that, I may have cut a little bit bigger piece than I needed. I did. So we'll cut that off and use that somewhere else. And I actually got a little too close to right there. So let's take this piece and let's set it to the side. Now, here's what we're gonna do. I got a little too close to the middle there. So we're gonna take this and we're just gonna cut it right down the middle. And that's gonna allow me to put another piece right beside that one. And we'll take this piece and we put it right above that one. There we go. Yeah, that'll give me, that'll be plenty of lift for us. So we'll do that. I don't know why card making is such a therapeutic thing. I don't know what it is about it. It's one of those you either enjoy it or you don't. Now we could go wonky here, but I'm not going to. So I'm gonna put that right there. And we're not quite done with this one yet, not quite. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to I'm going to take this little round here, and I'll use this other little piece that came off the other one just to give me a little extra support. So we're just going to throw a couple little extra pieces on here just for aesthetics, just for looks. I am raising it up, and what we're going to do is we're going to tuck this one under. I'm going to tuck it under, and I'm going to put it right in there. There's that one. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. So I'm just going to cut a couple pieces. One for there, and another one to go right above it. And we're going to peel that off. And then we're going to position this one. I don't need the twist. I need to go. There we go. There we go. And we're going to get that, and then we're going to press that down. We're going to leave that just the way it is. All right, so there's that card. It's actually going to be one card. We're going to let that one be that card. So we've got some nice dimension there. Got a nice colorful front. I like the card stock. And I like the fact that they can put that on their desk or whatever. So that one looks good. You flip it open, plenty of room to write a nice note in there. If you wanted to, you could glue in a piece of colored cardstock to write on, or just even a piece of paper. But I like that one. That's good. So we're going to call that first card done. And we'll set that off to the side. All right, so for this next card, I'm going to take one of my card bases. And I buy these, I mentioned in other videos, I get these at Hobby Lobby. They're just generic. And I cover them up. They're good card stock, good weight, good to be used for whatever. And so we just cover those up. Literally just get them and then just use them, and then because then you won't see what's underneath it. So I do like those for that reason. So now I'm just realizing that I don't have any. I need to go get some. I need to go find my tape roller, but I do thankfully have this, so I can use this. So we're going to use it. So we'll just use this. I'll just use some. Just use, I don't know what you call it. It's double-sided tape. But I have this tape that I've had in my collection for a while. It comes with kits, and it's built up, and I've got multiple rolls of this. So this is often easy for me to use just when I don't want to, if I can't find my tape runner, which right now I cannot find my tape runner. All right, I'm going to put a couple pieces in the middle just to make sure it lays flat. That's all we need there. Kind of lift this up and reposition that and tear that. All right. And this is, the only challenge of this is you just have to get underneath you have to find the edge that come off. Sometimes it cooperates, sometimes it doesn't. There we go. Go. I have done this before and pulled, and hey, realized I pulled the whole thing off. Sometimes it does. So make sure you press down. All right. And then we literally just take this and just put it over the card. Push it down. And that becomes your card front. So, I like that. Super easy. Now we have to go a little bit different because we're going to put this on, and I think what I want to do with this one is I do want to run it where it looks like it's straight up, wonky but straight up. So what we need to do with this one, because we're dealing with metallic cardstock, because it reacts differently, because it's super It's just super different in the way it reacts. So I'm going to use the collage medium. And it's going to slip, it's going to slide, and then you're going to have to be very careful because it will move on you when you're working with this kind of paper. I'm just telling you from experience. Once it's glued, but it's that initial part of getting it pressed down and getting it where we want it. That's where it gets a little bit tricky. All right. So I'm going to line it up as best I can. And then I'm going to press it down. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to grab this guy. And we've got our card base here. And we're going to go ahead and put him together, and he's going to go like that. I'm going to go ahead and use up some more of my tape here. All right, so I've got my tape down on the back. We peeled off the backing. Now we're just going to line it up on the card. I'm going to be a little gentle with this one because we are using tape, and I want to be able to reposition this if something isn't right. So what I usually do is I try to line it up as carefully as I can and just kind of let it drop, take a look at it, and yep, that's good. And we're going to just do that and then press it down. And I have some guides and stuff. They sell them too that you can use to help position your pieces perfectly like that. I just haven't invested in those yet. Some of them are a little bit pricey. So, all right, so we've got that. Now we've got this guy here. This is a matching piece, but what I'm going to do with this one is we're going to raise it up because, again, dimension. So I'm going to grab my foam over here. And we're just going to put our dimensional foam on there, and we're going to raise this one up. And I think that piece, yep, I cut that one perfectly for the side there, so that's where we're going to use it. And then I may have just cut that one a little bit too long. I did. So we just trim that off. There we go. All right, we peel off the backing. And then this, I want it to line up. So I'm really going to be careful with this one. And just let it sit right on top. Make sure it looks square. And that looks good. And so now we just have just a little bit of lift there, just an interesting little dimensional, just like we did on the other card. So now with this one is where we're going to use one of these. We're going to use Believe You Can, and you're halfway there. I'm actually going to put that down here. And what I want to do is just throw a couple of decorative pieces on there. That one's going to go there. And we are going to lift those up. So let's cut our pieces. Go. We're going to grab that one. Same thing. And this one we're just going to glue right on top of those, just like that. So what I want is I want a little piece in the middle just to help make sure it doesn't, so I don't want it to sag. So we're going to cut a little piece to go kind of right through there. And make sure that's going to line up where I want it. Yep, perfect. And then we're going to put a little bit of glue on the corners and on the bottom. Little glue there, little glue there, little glue there. Pull off that. Come on. Come on. There we go. Then we use this to position it where we want it. Just like that. There we go. And because I feel like it needs a little something on the bottom, but I don't know what. All right, so I feel like it needs a little something down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of those hearts that we had cut earlier from that beautiful paper that I made, and we're going to do that. And we're going to put those there. Just going to throw a couple hearts on there just to kind of bring it a little bit, bring it to life just a little bit. And I think I'm even going to grab, a smaller one. I could just kind of, oh, I like that. And the question is, do I want to do it this way? Nope, I like it just the way it was. We're gonna do that. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Okay, so let's grab our glue. Getting a lot of use out of the whatever's left in this bottle here. Then we're going to put that down. It's going to slide just a little bit because it is, but once I get it positioned and hold it, that's going to give us that. And the same thing with the other heart. Now making sure that I put the glue mostly around the edges because I don't want the edges to come up. There we go. And we're actually going to do one last thing. Just because we can. Just because I can. Leave it. I think that's a good looking card just the way it is. All right, so there we go. We got some dimension. We got some lift. Got a nice little sentiment. Open up the card. And you've got that in there and they're good to go. So there is that one. And actually that's a different envelope. Let me see what I do with my envelope. There it is. All right, and there's our envelope. All right, so there's the second card. All right, let's go back to this guy. He's nice and dry. He's ready to go. So what we're going to do now is this one. We're just going to start filling in with pieces. We're going to find the ones that we want to use, and we're going to fill it in. We're just going to fill it in. All right, I like that butterfly, so that's going to go there. And we are going to lift out of those. They're actually not going to sit down in there. We're going to lift them up over. Well, no, I think we're just going to glue them back in. We're just going to glue them right back in the spot. Yep, so we're just looking for pieces that match, colors that match. And let's see here. So we're going to lift each one of these up, but I'll do all that off camera. So all we're going to do, same thing we've been doing, use our dimensional foam to get some lift. We'll do that with all these pieces. And once they're ready, we'll come back and we'll put them all in place. All right, I've got strips on the back of everything. So now we just peel off the paper and we just start putting these in place. I'm going to use my tweezers to help make sure we get it lined up, because we don't want an overlap. We want it as if it's fitting in, but I do want it raised up. So we're just going to, just one by one, we're just going to put these in place. Alrighty. That one's wanting to be a little bit difficult, so there we go. And what I do is I line up the top part. Once you get part of it lined up, it will line up. So you just want to pick a corner, if you will, and try and line it up. And I just like, again, I like the raised look of this. Yep, there's that one. That one went right in nicely. And we'll take the paper off of this one. Maybe. Yep, I got to look and make sure I've got it oriented the right way. There we go. Alrighty. And we're getting there. We're moving right along. Now I changed the one that I had up here. You might have noticed. I don't know if you noticed, if you were paying attention. But yeah, but I like that because I think that matches that. So I just wanted to do that. Let's get this one, just a couple more. We're almost done here. And this card's, there's nothing on the outside. It's just decorative. It's just this, that's all it is it's just a decorative front. And then you put your message on the inside. Just like that. And there it is. And I will say the only thing I don't like about using this metallic is any little groove, or it captures every little scratch and dent. So for future, I probably won't do something like this. I have in the past, I've embossed it, and that's the best way to go, because then if it's embossed, and you get any scratches, it gets hidden in the embossing. So that's probably what we should have. So again, I'm still making cards and still learning. So what I learned on this is I like this, but I think, and I like the wonkiness of it, but I think next time, I think the embossed over the black looks really good. And I like the little crooked front. I just like the way it looks. And then you just write your note on the inside. So this part I really like the way we raised it up and did that. But just, again, not a fan of the metallic on metallic, the crookedness of it. Next time we'll lay it out better. This was just a piece we'd cut out of, and then if I'd have done a little more careful precision, we could have made it we could have made it better. So this is one of those cards. What will happen is this will actually go into, I have a box full of samples, and I will write on this card next time, emboss, do this, do that. So this is actually going, I don't even need an envelope for that. This is actually going to go into my sample cards. And if you ever get stuck and you're like, creativity wise, what I do is I just grab my box of sample cards and oh yeah, I remember that. You know what? I want to make another one like this. And I want to do it right this time. And then I have cards in there that are actually right. And I wrote on there how I did it so that I can do it again. So this is actually going to go into the sample box. We won't give that away because I can't give away a card that isn't up to my standard. So, all right, so let's set that off to the side. Okay, we are ready to work on our next card. So we have our black metallic cardstock. It's going to be our base for this cream cardstock that we cut and trimmed it a little bit narrower to fit the stencil to make sure we had plenty of that black border that's going to shine through once we fill this in. But what I want to do before I do anything is I'm going to grab my rusty hinge. Actually, I think I'm going to go with Vintage Photo, and it's off to the side. And what I want to do is I just kind of want to distress the edges of this just a little bit. So, and I like the vintage, I'm using the vintage photo, so we're just going to go around, I'm just going to go around the edge of the cardstock, just so, because it's too crisp for the colors and for everything that we're using, for the paper that we're going to be using. So we're just going around and we're just going to hit the edges. And some places I'm drawing, and other places I'm letting it kind of come onto the paper a little bit more. Not too worried about it. I just didn't want that crisp edge. I felt like it would contrast with the rest of the project. So there we go. All right. So I like that a lot better now. We got that just where that's just a little bit around the edges. And you can go back and you can add more if you want. And I'm even going to kind of halfway kind of reach into some of these corners, and just with what little bits left on the foam, just to give that whole panel just a little bit of a distressed look. There we go. All right, I like that. That already looks much better. Okay, so that's good. So we did that with the vintage photo, and you could use any color that you want. So what I do now is I want to go ahead and get this anchored to this piece, and then we're going to put that on the card base. So let's grab our multimedia mat. This is the beautiful little bottle of mat that I've been using this whole video so far. If you guys have been following along, trying to get every little drop out of this rascal that I can. And I think there's actually a lot in there. It's just being, it's just sometimes it's a little bit stubborn. Okay. I like that. I think that's going to work. And then we're going to come over here, and we're going to put that down. Got that print. I want to get it pretty well even, because I don't want that glue seeping out of the outer edges of the onto the metallic, because metallic and the I've just had issues with it. We talked about that earlier in the video. So press it down, get that nice and secure. Collage medium is amazing glue. So is the new Simon Says stamp glue. If you've been using that, or if you have that, you've gotten a bottle in your kit. If you've been getting the kits, you should have received a bottle. I've received, I think, 2 in the last couple of kits. I think I've had 2 of them. But I love that too. It works really well. It's a good, just enough drying time, just enough time to move and get it, and then it dries, and it dries quickly, and it dries well. So there we go. So there's that beautiful piece right there. And then we'll start filling all that in just a minute. But for now, I need to figure out what I was going to put that over. I had a card base. Oh, here it is. Okay. There's my card base. And so that's actually going to go over that. That's going to fit nicely. All right, but we'll do that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and let me go ahead and do that. Whoop. Yep, see, it's still drying, and I just did that, and I just smudged a little bit right there. A little bit of that glue came out. This, if you don't, I do this technique works great, because you don't have to worry about snagging or grabbing the front. You're getting pressure, but you're getting pressure from behind, but you're still getting, you also don't have to worry about it sliding. So I've used this technique a few times. So I encourage you to give that a try too, if you're wanting to press something down and get it glued down nice and solid. Let's set that back over there for now. I'm not gonna start working on that just yet. Let's find the pieces that we want to go in here. I know I want to use this one. Nope, I don't. That's too big. All right, let's see. Let's see what we've got here. All right, so I think we've got this one ready to go. I was going to see about putting something in there, cutting another, but I kind of like that, and I don't know why. It appeals to me, so I'm gonna leave it. This is what we're gonna go with for our card. So what I need to do is we're gonna pull these pieces out. We'll have to glue them in. glue them in. But for now, I'm going to just take all the pieces out. Actually, it's easier just to turn it over and do that. And what I want to go ahead and do is go ahead and put this onto our card and get it ready to go. So let's do that first. All right, so we've taken our base and we've mounted it onto our cardstock, so that's ready to go. And I tried to line it up. I wanted a little bit of white on the edge, and I did okay. But once I got it glued down, I looked at it. I like it and I don't like it, so I won't do that again. I just thought it would be neat with a little white edge, but then it didn't quite line up quite the way that I wanted it to. So live and learn. That's my life motto: live and learn. Now I'm trying to decide, do I want to mount these in or do I want to raise them up? And I think I want to just mount these in. So what we're going to do is grab our collage medium, and we're just going to start mounting these inside inside where they were. Okay. Whoops, that was a little bit much. Got a little much on there, so I'm gonna rub that with my fingers so that it doesn't ooze out excessively once we put it in. There we go. Press that down. Grab our bottom piece. I love collage medium. It's very forgiving. Very forgiving if you do it right. We got this one. And I am looking at it to make sure when I put it in, I orient it the way that I want it oriented. Some of the stamps all face different directions, so it really comes down to what your preference is. And I kind of like it that way, so that's the way I'm going to put it in. Sorry, that was off camera. I put the glue on there the last couple of times. It was off camera, I think. And we just set that right down inside the template. I love these templates. I love the dies. There's so much you can do with this set. Just so much you can do with this set. So, all right, get back on camera. Put our collage medium there. And then drop this piece in right there. Okay, we are back and ready to work on another card, and I'm going to do something a little bit different. Just decided, I was going through my stuff and I forgot I have some 5x7 cards, and I don't use these a lot. But what I like to do when I'm using a larger card like this is I like to use a stamped background. And Tina from Cards and Coffee Time, her YouTube channel, Cards and Coffee Time, I encourage you to go check that out, came up with an idea that I just really, really, really liked. And so we are going to steal that idea. And what I've done is I've gone into my stash and I've grabbed 3 colors here, 3 of my Simon Says stamps, positively saturated inks. We've got sherbet, cantaloupe, and melon. And what we're going to do is we're going to start, and we're going to work from light to dark. And what I've done is I've taken from the stamp set that came with the kit, I took the dot, I took the big round, and you could use any of these. But for this card, and I may do a couple, I may do these too, but for this card, we're going to use this. And all we're going to do is, well, let me do it the way, all we're going to do, all we're going to do is stamp up that. And I think I have my stamp on backwards, actually. So let's just try something off camera here. Give me 1 second. All right, so we're good. I've got it the right way. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start with the light piece here, and we're just gonna ink that up. And we're gonna ink that up. And I'm going to stamp. And I'm gonna stamp both on and off of the paper. And I don't care if I get enough ink on there or not. I don't care about a full impression. I want to, and I'm just gonna do it this way. I just want to get some circles on there, and I was even going to use my ghosted image. So we're gonna do that, but so much of the ink is coming off, and I'm going to show you how this is looking. Pull it up where you can see it a little bit better, and you can see it's a little spotty, but that's okay. Again, we know that these inks, when they dry, they smooth themselves out a little bit. But even aside from that, I really like I just really like the look of this stamp. So all we're doing is stamping and lifting. Go back and get some more ink and stamp and lift. And we're just gonna fill this up with circles. And we go ahead and go off the page a little bit down there. And then I think I want to go over here off the page. And then I think maybe one more here, way off the page. There we go. All right, I like that. I'm going to do one more. And we're going to kind of put that one right there. And I think one more at the top. I just feel like I need a little... Nope. No, we're not going to do that. I'm going to go... Well, I am going to go right here. Okay. I'm going to clean off our stamp. And we're going to go now to the cantaloupe, which is just a little bit darker color. And we're going to take our cantaloupe, and this is when we're going to start overlapping. Love it. Love it already. And let's throw one right there. And let's see. Let's put one up here. So whenever I'm doing these, it's literally your call. Just eyeball it. Just what looks good to you. As you're putting it together, you can see it kind of framing itself and coming together nicely. And that's all you want to do. It's all you want to go with. I think I need a little bit more of that. And we are going to add that third color, so don't forget that. So I think I want to come over here and I want to add that right there. That's okay if that's off the page. Again, we don't mind that. And I think, well, actually, I'm going to put a little bit here. And then I think just maybe kind of want to put one right there. Kind of just put it right there. All right. And we wipe off our stamp. And we're going to pop up that cantaloupe, put that cantaloupe to the side, wipe it off our stamp. Just wipe it off. And I'm going to clean off my mat here because I always do that and then I wind up getting ink on the back side of the card, which doesn't matter. You know, you can cover it up, but you don't want your cards to look super sloppy. And now we're going to come in with the sherbet, which is the darkest of those three colors. And we're going to stamp up our little circle. And we're going to jump right in. And obviously we're going to go right into that big hole right there. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Let's put one here. All right. And I need to, I think we'll throw one. Let's throw this one right here. And we're going to type and we're going to come up here. And I think we're going to go like that. Yep, looking good. Looking good. And I think, let's come over here. And then I'm going to put just a, as I've kind of got that, I'm going to put just the slightest little, no, I'm going to come in a little bit more. And we're going to put one right there. And we missed that a little bit. That's okay. That's actually, with these round ones, a little bit fixable. I can kind of see it. So we can just go right back over that. And there we go. Starting to get a little ink on my, so I want to get that out of the way. I like that. I like that. I like that. And I need a little bit more down at the bottom. I just feel like I need something here. I don't want to go there. I don't really, well, let's come over here and see what that looks like. I like that. I've got that big spot right there. But I really don't want to put another one of these giants. So we're going to kind of, let's just go right. Let's go right here. Let's just do it. There we go. I like that. And I will say that looks like I need just a little, I'm going to put just a little bit right there. Love it. And that's it. I'm going to stop. I don't want to overdo it. The tendency with sometimes when you're doing something like this is you'll overthink it. So don't overthink it. Let me see. Back of my card actually looks good. So there's that. Isn't that so pretty? Oh, that's so nice and colorful. Looks good. So we're going to put this to the side because we're going to come back and we are going to do another card. And I am actually going to use those the square and the rectangle pieces. We're going to use basically going to use it like we would with the template, the stencils that came with it. We're not actually going to stencil, we're going to stamp though. All right, so I like that. So I'm going to set that off to the side and let that dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to grab another 5x7 and let's go ahead and put this back. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab all three of these because I know I'm going to be using them. All right, so now we're grabbing the squares. Now with this one, and this is important, I do want to try and keep it square. I don't want to start running into diagonals and triangles. So this is where you need to have a good eye and just kind of let your, you just need to have a good eye. And you could use a stamp block, positioning tool, whatever you want. But for me, I'm just gonna eyeball it. If they're a little bit wonky, it's not gonna hurt because we are gonna be stamping over these. Let's come over here with this one. And let's put one right on the bottom, but not off the bottom. Let's put that right there. Let me get back up in camera. Let's come off the bottom here. And maybe one more. I think I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna, let's put that one there. And I actually like that. So I think, and I don't know, what I'm doing is, well, you'll see what I'm thinking about doing. Whether or not it's gonna work, we're gonna find out in just a minute. So, leaving a lot of white space, or ish, on the white space. There we go. Let's put one right there. And I think that's good enough for that. So we got that. Now I'm going to grab the cantaloupe, which is the next darkest color. So again, same way we did with the round. And let me make sure. Yep, looking good. Same way we did with the round. We're going to come in now with the square. A little bit of overlap. Oh, I really like this. This is such, this is one of the reasons why, you know, I hope my channel gives you ideas the way that some of these other crafters give me ideas, because they really work. I mean, you know, this, I wouldn't have thought of this until I saw her do it. I saw a card she made, and I thought, because I was wondering what to do with these, and my thinking was so basic. And this idea of layering colors, and I've seen other people do it. It's just sometimes, you know, sometimes we don't get it. Sometimes we don't quite make the connection. And maybe I've seen them do it a little different, but it didn't ring the bell until I saw her do it. And maybe me doing it rings the bell for you. And, oh, I see, I'm going to do this. So hopefully that's the case with any of the videos that I make, is it's helping inspire you to create. As we've said so many times, that's my goal with my channel. That's my goal with my channel. Let's put you right there. I was going to move it, and then I felt it grab the paper. I said, nope, we're not moving it now. So there we go. And I think I need something down here at the bottom, maybe right like that. Okay. So we've got that, and I like that. And I think what we're, well, no, yeah, I have to, because I need a little bit right here. I don't know why, just my eye is telling me, yep, that's it. Looks good. Now I'm cleaning off the stamp, and we're gonna wipe this off. And we're going to close this color up. And this is where it gets a little interesting, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to this one. And we're going to add that sherbet in there. I wonder if yeah, I'm going to do it this way, because I'm going to turn my card just because it's easier for me to work this way. And we're going to put that right there. Yep. And we're going to put this one right there. I'm liking this already. I think we need this one down here. Maybe, yep, just a little piece just coming off the corner down there. And maybe one. I'll tell you what this reminds me of while I'm doing this and I'm looking at it. It reminds me of Tim's cello tape. It kind of looks like it has that look of like when you would do the cello tape. I think I don't want it too close to that one. I think I want to just come down here and do that. Let's just do that. And then we're going to stop. I'm going to stop with that, so I'm going to clean it off. Just wiping it off. It comes right off. And we're going to grab this little guy right here. And now going to run just a couple pieces, just a little bit different with this one. Okay, we're going to try that again because I don't like the way that came out. So all I'm going to do is just go a little bit wider and make sure that I press down a little better on that. There we go. Much better. That's a little bit of an overlap, but that's okay. There's the shading on all this. And let's put you right here. And I don't know if I want to add another one anywhere. I actually like that. I'm thinking though, boy, I don't, nope. I think if I do anything else, it's going to be too much. Nothing is standing out to me. That looks like a pretty good, that looks finished to me. So I stamped that up for no reason. So let's just ink that up. So let's just take that off, and that's it. So now we have these two very nice geometric backgrounds, and which opens the door wide up, opens the door wide open, throws the door wide open, whatever, for whatever we want to do. And see how this is already drying? And you can, maybe you can see the difference, but it's getting already smoother and crisper and just cleaner. And then this one will do the same as well. So I'm going to set this off to the side. I'm going to come back to this card that we were working on. So earlier today, we put the glossy accents on our Collect Beautiful Moments. And I love that. I didn't get it quite all the way to the edge, and that's okay in a couple of places. It looks good. It's super flexible, okay? So when we go to put this on, we're gonna glue it flat because it's you can see it's just wanting to curl up around the edges, the glossy accents. Actually, I changed my mind. If I do it right and I use dimensional foam, it's gonna look good. But let me just see what I want to do. And we are going to do foam tape. So what I'm doing now is getting pretty close to the edge on this one, which is something that I don't normally do. And we're gonna cut that off. And that's just because of the way it wants to curl with that dimensional, with those glossy accents. I'm going to put that one right there, put that right there. I like that. And I need one more for the middle. And trim just a little bit of that off. And that looks good. So now we're going to peel this off. Ooh. Oh, that was close. And we're going to put you right there. And that looks good. And I've got one little place I can see where I've got a bubble, so I don't like that too much, but live and learn. I still like that card. That looks really nice. You can see that bubble right there. Actually, there's one up top and there's one down low. So just something you have to keep an eye on. And again, as we said with the other card, this is a learning card. I like it. I didn't get it lined up right. I don't like it. I bent the black. So this card is going to wind up going in the sample stack because I like the idea. I like the layout, but I wouldn't send this card to anyone. That's just me. So, but that card is done. So we'll put that over here. And we're going to come back to these two guys. Now let's work on the round one first. And I need to check. Yeah, that actually works. I think that color actually works on that. So I like that. So we're gonna layer these over it. And we've got this one too, which works. So we're just throwing in some circles here. That's all we're doing. The different shades, wherever there's a white spot, just throwing a circle over it. I don't want to necessarily, we'll see. I like these alphabet ones. I don't know what it is about this alphabet, but I like it. So we're going to use those. I'm going to stick with those. And those two just for extra, just because I have them. And we're going to grab maybe one more of these. I'm going to put this one down here. We'll trim that off. So we haven't covered all the white space. Don't have to. We could. I'm going to put that one right there. And then the little 5 cents. I think we'll do something with him. We'll see. That's actually all my round pieces. So, all right. So that gives me what we want there. And I don't want to raise these up. So we'll skip ahead for this. You don't need to see all this. Or maybe not. I keep saying I'm going to do that and then I don't do it. Just pressing down, making sure the glue is catching where I want it to catch. A little more collage medium. This stuff is amazing. It's such a small amount is all it takes. Okay, so change of plans on this card. The collage project that I first did, which before we did all the cards, just kind of gave me an idea as I was looking at this card, and I was going to put a sentiment on it, and we were going to put all of these other things and these little extra pieces, and then I thought, no, let's just go with a sentiment collage front. So I've laid out the ones that I want to use, and what we're going to do is we're going to stamp these onto the card. So I'm going to go ahead and take them off, move them out of the way, at least the ones that we're not using, and I'm going to work my way from the top down, and we're going to do this just a little bit different. And we're going to start with Believe You Can, and you are halfway there. All right, I love the sentiments that come with this, that came with this card kit. So that's what we're going to do. Now I'm stamping off camera just because of space restrictions and everything, but we're going to stamp this up. Now this is crucial because you want to make sure that you get these inked up. I'm not using a stamping platform, and I've said in other videos this freaks me out, but you have to kind of get over yourself. And we're going to put this one right at the top. And once you're down, you're down. I'm going to press. I press pretty firm. I like to give the ink plenty of time to leave the stamp and get into the paper. And then up we go. That looks great. That one is done. And then we're going to do Focus on the Good next. Focus on the Good. So, again, using our archival ink that came with the kit. And I can go ahead and push some of this out of the way, and we can do this over here. And we're going to stamp on that Focus on the Good. I'm just lining it up as best I can with the stamps that we put on the solid. Doesn't have to be perfect. There's going to be a couple you'll see that don't quite fit. That's okay. We'll get the nice overlap. Focus on the good. And then there's that one. Oh, this is going to be just a card of encouragement. I mean, we're just throwing everything at them. Focus on the good, you know, collect beautiful moments, believe in yourself, believe you can, you're halfway there. And then collect beautiful moments is going to go right here. Believe in yourself. I'm trying to remember where I had everything. Yep, believe in yourself is going to go up there. I'm going to go ahead and do collect beautiful moments. It won't hurt. Can't remember quite how I laid it out, but that's okay. We can make little adjustments. Let's see, I also have, Simon Says stamp. Oh, that's my embossing. I do like the black inks. Positively, well, it's not positive. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a black ink that we use that I really like. It's really good for crisp images and whatnot. So collect beautiful moments. Almost had it upside down there. So we're just going to kind of eyeball it, and then down we go. Press straight down. There's a slightly move, just a little wobble, not much. You don't want to twist it. You don't want to, because it will smudge. So I'm just pressing it down long enough to get that ink into the paper. And there it is. Collect beautiful moments. We're almost done. Got 3 more. Let's go ahead and do believe in yourself. I haven't actually used this one yet, which is why you can see that it's not black like the other stamps were. So that's fixing to change. Now, because this is the first time I'm using this one, I'm going to ink it up, and I'm going to stamp off camera onto a blank piece of paper. So I like to get it primed. I like to prime my stamps, basically. And I've just got this extra piece of craft stock over here that I've been using. So all we're going to do is we're just going to and see, I lifted and I slid it, and so it did that. But now I know it's primed and we're good to go. So gonna have to be really careful with this one. Because this is a little bit of a finer, I probably should have used the Simon Says stamp ink that I was talking about. All right, that's gonna come off just a little bit, but we don't care. Believe in yourself. Press gently. Looks good. Almost there. Now we've got the world needs who you were meant to be. And I was going to stamp that one right down here. So you see we're going to go into that white just a little bit, but that's okay. All right. We're almost done with this card. Every now and then I go, oh, that's enough ink, and then I go to stamp, and it's not. So I tend to over ink. And there we go. Got it. Ooh, I love that. And the last one we're going to do is love with all your heart. And we're going to turn it so that I can line it up the way that I want it. And I'm looking at it, and I can see that it's not quite straight. So we're going to do something just a little bit different. There we go. Much better. Sometimes when you put it on there like that, it's not straight, lay it down, and then just lift it back up with the stamp block. You didn't see that because that was off camera. Basically, I'm going to show you now. Basically, put that down and let it relax so it's not bent when you're trying to put it on there. And then you just come down and you pick it up. You pick it up with your stamp block, and that keeps it straight. And it's a little faded, but that's okay. It is what it is. It's done now. Without a stamping platform, we can't fix that, but I'm okay with that. All right. So that's actually done, but I am going to add just a couple of little things. We've got these butterflies and these hearts that we'd cut out. So I'm trying to think, I'm going to throw a butterfly right there. But what we're going to do is we're going to put it on there. Just in the middle. And I could have used a foam dot, but I don't want to. And I don't want too much glue there because I want the wings to kind of have a little lift to them. And we're going to put that butterfly right there. And all I'm going to do is press in the middle because I want the wings to stay lifted up. There we go. And if you wanted to, you can add another butterfly because I actually have several of them. So if we wanted to, we could throw another butterfly in here. But I really think, I don't want to overdo it. I think you can do too much. And to me, if I throw anything else on there, I feel like I would be doing too much. So that card is actually done. And we'll set that off to the side. And what we're going to do now is we are going to trim those little edge pieces that we had overlapped. There's a little bitty tiny piece right there at the top. There we go. And we get those out of the way. All right, we've got a lot going on and a lot of irons in the fire, so I need to start putting some stuff together. So get these cards done, get this video done so we can move on to the next set of videos. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull some stuff out of the way just a little bit here. I've got some stuff laid out, experimenting with what I'm going to do. I got an idea with some vellum. We're going to take a shot at that and see what that works. But let's finish this one up. So this is the one we did. We cut it. Everything's dry. Again, when that ink dries, I can't even begin to describe how much I love these positively saturated inks. They just very different purpose from the distress inks. So we've got that one done. We've got this one. This one's actually done. I've actually got the butterfly there, and this one's nice and dry. We like the way that one looks, and so we're going to take that one and let me come over here and grab a couple of my envelopes. And we're going to go ahead and take that one, and that one's going to be done. But really love the way that came out. And just a little bit of dimension with the butterfly there. Just a little lift. And we could do a couple extra things, but I'm not going to. If you have vellum, and I do, you could just kind of stick a piece of vellum over the top. And so I thought about doing that. But I don't want to mess with this one. So there's options here to build on this. And I use this using the Simon Says stamp dies. Well, actually, it's 2 different sizes. But we may use that on another card. But this one, like I said, this one's done. So I'm going to set it off to the side so I don't keep getting distracted by it. This one we want to finish up. So I did go ahead and stamp the Find Joy in the Ordinary and cut those out with the dies. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use our foam dots to lift that up, and we're going to put that on. And this is how sharp I am. I did not realize that when I was doing it, I was actually stamping on the back of my metallic cardstock. So live and learn. So we're just going to grab some foam dots here, and we're going to put these on the back of this. I don't know how the weather is where you guys are. As I'm filming this, we're in Georgia, and it is, well, south of us, it's funny, well, of course, the further south you go, they say the hotter it gets, but down around Macon, it's over 100, like 105 degrees with the heat index. We're not quite at 100 with the heat index here where I am in Georgia yet. Just a little bit outside of Atlanta, but it's still pretty hot. It's super hot. I'm gonna flip that over so I don't lose track of him. I've got so much stuff on my craft mat that is clear and white, and it blends in. So I have to make sure that I'm not losing stuff. All right. This is always the fun part, the tedious part. You got to get all these little pieces off the back of your foam squares. Just takes a second. They tend to come off pretty easy. Sometimes I pull it off and I go and I flick my finger down. And I'm like, wait, did I get it off? Nope, I didn't. So you like that one. All right, and you can look and tell those are all good to go. And we just want to stamp. We're going to put this one right there. I like these little foam squares that came with this kit. They're not super thick, so you don't have a lot of high dimension. The other foam tape that I've been using, this is a little bit thicker, so you get a little more height off of it. But that's just a really nice, simple card. I did toy with the idea of throwing some cello tape on here. You could do that if you wanted to. I think it might just give it just a little more something. Especially like where I have these white areas. So I thought about throwing some cello tape on there, but then I'm afraid once I do that, so maybe on another card. So that one's actually going to be done. We'll revisit that at the end when we review. This is the one where I had tried a couple different things off camera. I've been doing a whole bunch of layouts and cutting pieces and trying to come up with different things and different ideas. And so this is pretty much what we've come up with for now. I like it. Going to go really simple on this one. I did decide to use this guy here, and I am going to use my foam dots just to lift him up, to give that middle section some dimension. So what I'm going to do off camera, because you don't have to watch all this, is I'm going to prep all these pieces that I am going to raise up. I'm going to go ahead and put all my foam dots on and get them ready to go. To put this front together. So I'm not raising up everything, but you don't need to see all this off camera, so I'll cut this out, and then we'll come back and we'll put it together. Okay, so what we're going to do now, so I want to assemble this little piece. I've got all my foam dots, the foam squares on the background ready to go. I went ahead and did this piece and put it down, and you can see we offset it just a little bit because we wanted that shadow. We want that to show up. We're going to offset all of these just a little bit. But on this piece, what I wanted to do is I wanted to go ahead and assemble this with you together. I do want to use some of that foam, some of the vellum. Those are glossy accents. That's not what I need. There we go. So I did want to use some of that vellum. So that's why I've got that piece right there. And we want to be careful with the vellum. Because depending on the glue you're using, it reacts differently with the vellum, and it will show through. So we're just going to try and eyeball this real good, and then just push it down. Got a little wiggle room if we need it, but there we go. I just like that. I saw another crafter who did this. I cannot remember who it was now. I don't think it was Tina, but it might have been. But I like the vellum. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to eyeball it And we're going to, there we go. Now what's important, these squares aren't exactly perfectly square. I've noticed that when I tried to line one up the other day, I couldn't figure out why my borders weren't matching up. There's a slight off kilter on one of them. Not a whole lot, but enough that, you know, it was kind of annoying because I was like, oh, okay, I've got to fix that. I may be out of glue. Oh, I may finally be out of glue in this bottle. All right. I think that's going to be the end of that little tiny bottle. Now this one we're not too worried about as much because it's paper on paper, and multimedia matte dries. It dries clear, and it also shrinks. Collage medium dries clear and it shrinks. So there we go. Oop, I twisted it. There we go. Yep, that looks good. Give that just a second to dry. Flip it over, press down. You can see the glue on the back of the collage medium, or of the collage medium on the back of the vellum. So if you try to glue vellum down, we're actually going to do that with this card over here, but you'll see what I mean. But that is good for that one. That is good for, that is ready to go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our foam dots, and we're going to keep our foam dots hidden. I keep saying foam dots, they're foam squares. And we're going to keep those hidden under the vellum. We don't want to get too close to the edge with this one. And I don't want it to sag either, so I'm going to throw a couple extra, just kind of fill in a little bit. There we go. Actually, I think I want to put one right there too. Okay, so now we're moving right along. Everything's got our foam dots on it. This little guy here he's been a good friend, but he's time to go in the trash. We have plenty more. All right. So now what we're going to start doing is we just start pulling off our little pieces. So we're going to do that all these, and I'm going to skip forward. There's no need for you to watch all this. So, but I do want to show you just this one piece that we put on. I probably should have put this one on last. Maybe not, actually, because it'll help me build around it. It's the great thing about tweezers is they tend to grab the paper right off of these foam squares real easy. So if you're having a hard time with your fingers, they come off real easy. And yep, got to get that one. Whoop. There we go. All right, so now we're going to look at it. I need to check my orientation, make sure my words, letters are where they need to be. And what we're going to do is we're going to offset this one, but this one I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Because I don't want to lose all of that beautiful background that we inked and stamped. I want it to know that it's there. So that's why we're offsetting everything just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and go up here and grab these top corner pieces. And I did make the decision to not cover up all of the stenciled ink part. So, and now I have a card base. I had a card base somewhere. Where'd my card base go? There it is. And we will take this and we will mount this onto the front of this card. And then you just write your sentiment on the inside. You could stamp on there if you wanted to. I thought about doing it. We actually have a couple of sentiments that would work. You could put the little Make-A-Wish would stamp in there. Shine Brightly would fit over here. And we could even go back and do that. And I may, before I'm done, when we review at the end, you may see that I've gone back and stamped it. But for now, and you even have that little thanks. You could stamp thanks in there. So you got a little thinking of you. You could stamp sideways. So you have room with this set to do a lot of things. But I'm going to leave this blank for now. And that one, let's put it off to the side. And then we're going to start working on this guy here, because this is the one where I have an idea. And I don't know how it's going to work, but we're going to try it out. First, let me get everything laid out one more time, and we'll be back and we'll put this one together. All right, we are back. I've got this laid out the way I want it, and I'm going to try something. I have no idea. I laid it out. I kind of like the way it looks. I don't know what the finished product, if I'm going to be happy with it or not. We'll see. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to layer some of these onto this piece. Then we're going to put the vellum down, and we're going to layer these on top of the vellum. So it'll be kind of a double layer. You'll have this on top of the vellum over this, and you'll be able to lift it up and kind of see under there. So I think hopefully you get the idea. So basically what we're going to do now is we're just going to start gluing our pieces down onto this one first, and then we'll do the vellum. So I've got my fresh bottle of collage medium. And we're going to, and we are offsetting a little bit. All right, and so we're gonna, boy, that went right down on top of that with no hesitation. Boy, that collage medium didn't give me any room to breathe. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. And because this is a newer bottle and it's super full, the glue's coming out a lot different. A lot different. All right. In fact, that's too much glue. I don't need that much because I don't want to aggravate the ink underneath. The positively saturated inks, they are water reactive. I don't know at what point they stop being water reactive, but I don't want to aggravate those. So let's press that down. That is not wanting to glue. Interesting. Now you can see, I wonder if my glue, maybe I need to shake up my glue real good. I feel like the only thing that came out was moisture. So let's try this one more time. Yep, there we go. I can actually see the glue now. Okay. I'm going to see how this works. Yep, that's glue. I can feel it. As soon as it hit the paper, it didn't want to slide. So this collage medium, I had to shake that bottle. I guess it's been sitting there for a minute. So shook it up real good. It got the glue on it, but definitely not a lot of reaction time here. So I'm going to have to keep my eye out on that. All right. And then we're going to take, and we'll go ahead and do this one right here. Just a couple of dots. I like to get a little bit close to the edge just to make sure those corners don't come up. This one we're actually going to go down and to the right just a little bit. I'm not going to try and twist it and slide it. I don't want that glue to, I don't want it to twist and then not twist back. So you can, I think we've talked about it in other videos. You can turn your paper. You guys know that. And then we're going to go down on this one as well. So let's just down and to the right. Just a couple little drops. Yep, and there's that one. I love that shading. I love that ink. All right, so we've got that where we want that to be. And now we're going to pull these off because they'll go on last. We've got to get a little creative with this one. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, just because it helps me, is I'm going to turn this and I'm going to put just a little bit of glue, and I mean the smallest amount of glue, just the tiniest little drops of glue right down the side there. And then we're going to grab our vellum and we're going to put it right there. And then we're just going to press it down along the edge. And I like the fact that you can't really see the glue through the vellum, so that worked out much better than I had thought. I think that's a collage medium thing, so may have learned something today about gluing and vellum. And that corner's wanting to come up, so we're gonna put just a little bit more right there, and we're gonna press down real good. Yeah, bottom's sticking. It's just that top piece right there. I may not have had enough glue. All right, and with this, I want to dry real good. Now, I don't know when I go to pull it, I want it to dry real solid, because when we go to lift up the flap and you're looking underneath to see what's underneath, we don't want that vellum to come off. So we're gonna do that. And let me reach over here and grab a grid block, put that there. So I'm gonna take just a little break because I want that to dry nice and dry. If it pops off, we'll put some more glue on, we'll do it again. But what I like is that I can't see the glue on the edge there. So that tells me if I need to, I can go back and put a little more glue. And then we are gonna cover up those pieces on the top with these too, so that'll help as well. So give that just a few seconds to dry, and we'll come back and see what we got, and then we'll finish putting this one together. All right, we are back, and this is nice and dry, and it came out just fine. The vellum is holding just fine from the glue. Might come off if I pull it. I don't think it would, because that is pretty strong glue, the collage medium. And it looks really good, and you can't see the glue, so I actually like this. I'm gonna have to use more vellum in future cards. So we've got those pieces in the bottom, and they're offset, so we get that nice little range there. So now we're gonna add these guys. And as soon as I find my collage medium, and we're going to put these together. Oh, wait, I forgot to shake it up. Same problem we had a minute ago. And I think I need to clean it out. I can't find, I don't know where my pen is. But that's okay. Let's see if I can get, oh yeah, there's the glue. We're good. All right. And just a little bit. Again, doesn't take much. So check my orientation. I kind of like it. Yep, we're gonna put it down that way. And I'm gonna put it offset just a little bit to the left. And we've got that one. Then we're gonna come and we're gonna do this one now. And this one I'm gonna go just a little bit to the right. And then we're gonna grab this guy. And I think this one, I'm gonna go up to the left, just like the one above it, up to the left. There we go. And just a couple more, we're getting there. Okay. And I think for this one, see that one's down into the, I'm gonna come down and to the right on this one as well to kind of match the one on the inside. And one more, we're almost done. Almost done. This one, same as the one above it, we'll go down and to the right. And we'll put that on just like that. And that is it. All I need to do now is mount that to a card base. So we'll do that later off camera. But there it is. It looks really neat. It's on the vellum. You lift up the vellum and you've got this on the inside that you can see. So it just gives it just a little, you don't have to, the goal isn't to be able to pull it all the way open and see it. I have seen other crafters do similar. Similar technique, and what they do is they score a line down through here on the vellum, so that, and then fold it and crease it so that it will open and close. And I like that okay, but sometimes the vellum tends to stay open too much. So, but I really like that. I like the uniqueness of that. Just an idea I had, and I really like that. So we still get that beautiful ink that we did, and we get that, and it just makes a very unique little card. And you could even go back and we could even go back and pop a sentiment on the front of this if we wanted to on the vellum. So, and I may wind up doing that, but we'll see when we get to the end. But for now, that one's done. We'll set that off to the side, and I'll put it on a card base. Now let's see. I think we only have one more card that we were going to do, and that was this one. And I don't know what I was going to do with it, so I think we're gonna keep this one super simple. Super simple. Let me get some glue laid down. Not a lot, doesn't take a lot. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put this on this piece like that. And, oh, I actually lined that one up about perfect. I like that. Wow, okay, that actually looks real good. So we're just going to press that down. And there's our card base for that. And now what I think I'm going to do is just throw a couple of these hearts on here. And let's see. I think we'll throw that there. And we're going to use this guy. And we're going to use him right there. And I think maybe a little smaller heart over here. Yep, I think that looks good. So let's go ahead and grab our foam dots, because we're going to raise that up. And we'll just take and we'll just put our foam dots on this one. So just like, put them however you want them. These are going to be nice and hidden. I've gotten to where I really, I love the fact that I did this accidentally on the opposite side of my my metallic. I feel a little bad. I wasted the metallic, but it actually came out okay. So I'm not too sad about it. All right, let's get all these off. I love how easily those come off. And I think I'm actually going to go ahead and raise up those hearts as well. All right. So there's Find Joy in the Ordinary. I'm going to put it right there. Now we're going to grab our heart, and we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. All right, so I've got foam tape on all the hearts, and we have peeled off the backing. So now we're just going to throw those on to our card. And we had this guy right about, I like him right there. We'll put him right there. And then we grab this little tiny guy, and we're going to pop him right there. And that is going to do it. That is for that card front. And so there we go. So let's put that on a card base, and that's going to do it for our cards. We'll get everything together, and then we'll do our little review and see how many we've made and what we've got. All right, let's review the cards that we have made. So we have this beautiful card here that, oh, well, I actually haven't glued it onto the front yet, so I need to do that. I need to glue it onto the card base. But this is the one we made. We stamped it onto craft stock, and then we just added some different pieces that we cut out, left some of it blank, used the little 3-layer there, vellum, and a couple of different pieces. I did go back and add a couple of little butterflies. And this one actually has vellum underneath it. So I actually layered that over the vellum. So we have that piece, and I'll glue that to the card. And then that will actually be done, but that's not quite done yet, but that's card number 1. Then we got card number 2 over here. This was a top fold card, I believe. Yep. So this one actually stands up like that. This one just kept it very simple, some cardstock on a craft card base. We used a piece of the paper, some of the paper that came with the kit, and then we embossed and cut out Find Joy in the Ordinary. So that gives us our second card. Super easy there. This one also, I think, let's see, is this top fold? It is not. Okay. This one, again, we cut the pattern paper, left a little border, and then we cut another piece of the pattern paper, about half the size. We raised it up with the foam dots. Used a couple of pieces that we'd cut out using the dies that came with the kit, added a couple of the hearts there from that piece of paper that we had painted on the other video, and then the Believe You Can, and you're halfway there. Nice and embossed. So that's card number 3. Then we have card number 4. This is card number 4. This card is a sample card now. This is not going to be given away because I didn't do a good enough job of watching out for the glue and also the scratches. That metallic cardstock is really bad. I mean, you can draw your fingernail and then you can see it creates a mark on it. Okay, so you want to be super delicate with it. What I've forgotten that I had learned in another earlier when I was making and using it is generally with the metallics, I will cut geometric pieces, squares or circles, and layer them because you get a little more freedom there with those. But also emboss your metallics. And that is a huge way to cover up many mistakes. Embossing will cover a multitude of mistakes. And then this was just a scrap piece, and it was cut and laid out okay, but it was a little crooked, so I put it wonky on a piece of black metallic, which I didn't like that either, so we won't do that again. So this is one of those that gives me an idea of what to do and what not to do. And I haven't written on the back yet, but I will go and I will write on there some notes so that we'll know next time what to do. So that card's not a giveaway card, but that's a sample for a future card. All right, so is this card. All right, this card I really love. I liked taking and just cutting out some of the pieces and laying in some of that beautiful paper. We did distress the edges. We distressed the cardstock. We layered it over a piece of black metallic, but I did bend it, so that looks bad, and I didn't line it up right, so we have that white border. So again, this will go into the sample. This will go into a box of sample cards and idea cards. I will pull this out and look at it and go, ooh, I like that idea, and I'll run with it. If I need something, if I need a starter, that's what that box of cards is. And maybe one day I'll grab all those and pull that out, and we'll have a video and we'll show you some of those cards. But for now, they're kind of scattered a little bit, but I do have several cards like that. So that's that. This is one of the last ones we worked on. We had fun with this one. We took and just used a card base, and we took a piece of cardstock and we stamped it, or we inked it, and then we put some pieces of the paper on it. We offset to give it that shadowed look, and then we put a piece of vellum over the top, and then we glued some on top of the vellum as well. So you have kind of that double layered effect. I like this. I may or may not do it again. I think the better way to do it is just leave it all on the bottom. But what I do like about this is you get all those nice, that same stamped cardstock. It's one piece of card stock or paper with the design, and when you open it up, you don't lose that beautiful inking that we did. So I like that aspect of it. But there's that card, so we'll put that over there. Then we had this one. We were working on this one at the end, and super simple card. I think I made this a top fold. Yes, I did. So this one also is a top fold. It will stand up on their desk like that. And this one just simply took a piece of cardstock. Then we used the paper pad that came with the kit, Tim's paper pad, and we cut it a little narrow for the border. did a fine joy in the ordinary, stamped it, cut it out with the die, and then added just a couple of hearts cut out with the metallic. And this is what I was talking about with the metallic. This looks so much better, and it's so much easier to put down and with the little foam dots and not scratch it. But I did grab it a little too hard with the tweezers right there. And I think I mentioned in the video, you want to be super careful when you grab the metallic with the tweezers. Don't grab close to the edge. If you're going to do it, grab all the way in, and ideally use softer tweezers. Or ideally don't use tweezers at all. But if you're going to use the tweezers, you have to be really careful because this metallic will mark up. But there's that card. Looks really nice. We'll put that there. Actually, let me pull this back out. I like to set them on top of the envelope. And then, kind of a last minute, one of the things we did was we made a couple of larger cards, and I love this. This is one of my new favorite techniques. I will be doing this now in future. You will see this show up in future projects. I love this idea of taking these geometric patterns, stamping them in 2 or 3 different colors, going from lighter to darker, and creating that really nice background. Do have a little bit of white space. You could cover that up. We could go back and stamp over that if you want to get rid of all the white space, or you can just embrace the white space. But I love the way that came out. And again, those positively saturated inks, when they dry, so smooth. And so then we just added some circles, a little overlap. We cut off the excess, added a little fine joy in the ordinary, plenty of room in there to write a message. And then we did this one the same way. But with this one, we didn't add, all this one we did was we just stamped directly onto the geometric shapes. We've got love with all your heart. Didn't quite get that stamped solid enough, but that's okay. And then I did go back and I added a butterfly. And as I've said before on these things like this, what I'll do is I'll put a little glue in the middle and then leave it where the edges kind of, just to give it a little dimension, something real pretty. So there we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 9 cards. I feel a little strange. I feel like I should have made a 10th card, but there you go. 9 cards made using that kit. I know we're super way behind, and this is way back from February, but if you still have the kit, if you have, some of the paper, if you haven't gotten to use yours either, then maybe one of these cards will give you some ideas as well. And you just take and modify it however you want to. Make it your card. But again, hopefully this inspires you guys to take what you have and use it. I've got 4 kits literally sitting on the shelf, and we get so far behind with work, sometimes we don't get to do anything. But when I go back and pick them up, it's nice to know I can go online and look what other crafters have done and know that there's going to be something out there to help me kind of go back and see what to do with a kit that maybe has been sitting around for a little while. So there you go. There's 9 ideas for you. Hopefully that will help. And as always, the ability to create, I believe, is a gift from God. So as always, until next time, happy Krabby Krafting. It's Pastor Ian saying, God bless. See you next time.